Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, this is another video from Mike Scott's Feast Fest, and today I'm going to show you how to make some Alien Tyranid type bases. This is how I make mine anyway for my army, and hopefully you might find it useful. Okay, so first of all is to find some rocks. Now you could just go into your garden and get some little stones, they'd be absolutely fine, or you could maybe go to the beach and get some coral. Now, I don't have a beach with coral right next to me, but when I went on holiday in Bali, I did find this on the beach, and I brought a load home for my Tyranid basing, and it's absolutely wicked stuff. It looks fantastic. Lots of texture, so it's really great for when you put your washes on and stuff. And it just looks really freaky, really alien. So, I mean, that's an extreme, obviously, but yeah, if you can get yourself some rocks. I mean, it's always a good idea to scout around in your garden, finding little bits and pieces for your bases anyway. But any unusual shaped rocks and stuff will be absolutely fine. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to try and base up my trigon that I'm making. Now, you'll notice that I haven't finished painting this yet, and the reason for that is I actually like to do my bases whilst I'm painting, because I find it's a lot easier, because you don't have to wait for anything to dry. There's nothing worse than finishing your mini thinking I've only got the base to do, and then you put your PVA glue on the sand and you've got to wait 24 hours for it to dry. That's really annoying, so I like to do my bases beforehand. So all you basically do is put your mini where you're going to put it. Now on this one I'm going to have it slightly to the side. My other one's dead straight on like that, so I'm going to have this one to the side a bit more. And I'm going to get a couple of these bits, and I think what I'm going to do is have them at the back more. I'm going to have one here, like that. Now it's good, like you see me turn that over there, and that's because I'm trying to find the section that's going to have the most connection with the base, so I can get as much glue as possible to the base. So I'm going to have that there, and then I shall just put in a little stone in the middle as well, just so that it's got a little extra detail. Okay, so work out where you're going to have them. So I'm going to have mine there, and then glue them down. Now to glue them down you're going to need basically super glue. So I'm just going to get some super glue out. Right, so we know exactly where they're going. You can mark that with your thumb. Put some glue on, like so, and then mark that one. Put some glue on that one, like so, and then the little stone in the middle. Put some glue on that one, and put that on. There you go. Right, so something like that, and just to check that everything is in the correct place, just pop that on just to make sure. So I'm going to have it roughly like that. It's going to be pretty cool, I reckon, like that. Okay, so the next stage is to let that fully dry. Once that's dry, I'm going to put some PVA glue on and some sand, which we'll do next. But just a note here, before you put your brush, even if it's an old brush, before you put any brush to this, the super glue has to be 100% dry, or you'll just mess your brush up with the super glue. You could use a hairdryer if you want to speed things up, but I'm just going to wait and just let that dry naturally. Okay, I'll be back when that's done. Okay, so that's all dried up. Left that to dry overnight in actual fact. So next we're going to put some PVA glue on here, and then I'm going to put some sand. Now I'm using this sand, although it's in a GW pot. There is a little bit of GW sand on here, but to be fair, this is just normal sand. I do find it's better to have sort of slightly bigger bits in with the sand, not just normal sand, because it looks really flat otherwise. So it's good to have a few extra bits in there. And then I'm just going to use some PVA glue. So what I'm going to do is put that on now. I'll speed the camera up a bit after while I'm doing this. Right, here we go. Okay, so that's PVA glue on there, and what I always like to do right at the end is make sure that I've got the glue going all the way out to the edges, because I find personally nothing worse than having the sand not going right to the edge. Okay, so that's that. What I'm going to do now is pop this into a little ice cream tub and tip some sand on it. Grab one of the rocks and tip it up like so. There you go. And once again, personally, I like to have a nice clean edge, and the way I clean it up is I get my thumb and I basically move it down like this. Don't go across because you will take the sand off. So you just go downwards, just clean up that edge. I know some people like to have the sand going all over the side of the bases, but personally I just like mine really, really clean. So I'm going to do that all the way round. There you go, done. So, going to let that dry basically. So again, I'll probably leave that overnight, make sure it's really, really dry, and we'll come on to the next stage. Right, so that's that fully dried. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over this base with a watered down mix of desert yellow. And there's two reasons why I'm doing this. The first one is to make all the rocks that we're using the same colour. To get some consistency, because obviously we're using different garden rocks and obviously this here, so it gets them a consistent colour. And then secondly, it helps bond the sand slightly, because you still get some loose bits on here, but putting this it's almost like a wash of paint over this. It's going to hopefully just bond it all together. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay, there you go. So as you can see, I gave that quite a good heavy coat of this watered down desert yellow. And then I'm going to let that fully dry and we'll come on to the next stage. Okay, so that's fully dried, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over this base with this Gryphon Sepia, which is a great little contrasting colour for my NIDs. As I said, you can use pretty much any colours that you like. I'm just showing you how I do mine. Okay, so I'm just going to go over that with the sepia wash. This is a full wash, it's not watered down or anything. Okay, so there you go, that's the sepia wash done. So let that fully dry. Okay, so that's fully dried, and that's pretty much what I do. Now you could obviously take this to more extreme and do the traditional sort of highlights and stuff, but I find that's enough. I mean, that's the advantage of doing alien bases really, is it can be like anything that you want. So that suits my army quite well. Now I am going to add a few bits of tufts of grass, if I can try to pick one up. There we go. I'm going to add a couple of bits of these. Now these are from Army Painter, but you can add anything that you like onto the board. But I'm just going to add a few of these. Just get some PVA glue on there, and I like to put these next to like the rocks, as if they're growing out of the rocks. It looks pretty cool. So just get another one. I'll just have a couple on this base. Put that one on this side. Okay, so that's that. And then lastly, I'm just going to go around the edge of the base and just clean up the edge basically. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so that's pretty much how I do my bases. And as you can see, there's a lot of steps there of having to wait for things to dry, and in the meantime I've been painting up my Trigon Morlock, and this is how it's eventually going to look. Twist it around like that. So that's roughly how he's going to look on the base. I think it looks pretty cool. Very happy with that. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and as usual, thanks for watching.